Grow 'em Big with Steve Bartylla. Brought to you by Huntworth and these other fine sponsors.
We're extremely lucky to have my good friend Robie Pruitt with me here. This man has forgotten more about food plotting than I think I'll ever learn, and I think I've learned more than most. Without trying to sound like an arrogant jerk here, but Robie is that darn good. So much of food plotting has to do with our seed beds. Robie, how in the world do we make the very best seed bed we possibly can for our plantings to succeed?
Well, a seed bed, you're looking at, to me, the number one thing that you have to really prepare the proper way. A lot of people think that a plot will not grow because of lack of rain, maybe too much rain. Getting that seed where it needs to be in the soil, that plays a big factor. A lot of these seeds we're dealing with are small seeds. So when you're dealing with a small seed, you got to really watch getting them covered too deep. Now, we've been around for a long time. You've heard it over the years. Drag your seeds in, harrow them in, stuff like that. I kind of stay away from that now. I'm a big fan of cultipacking my plots. The one thing I highly recommend doing is I will always work my soil. I will cultipack it. I will always plant on a firm seed bed. So I want to cultipack that soil, broadcast my seed, and then I will cultipack it again. That cultipacker is going to help push that seed in to where you need it at. It's going to help draw moisture up. It's just a win-win when it comes to building the proper plot and doing it the proper way.
Well, and I'm assuming, and this is my fault because I didn't specifically address this, but I'm assuming before you're prepping that plot, what are you doing for the soil? Are you taking a soil test, for example?
Oh yeah, we want to get in that. The most important thing is to do a soil test. You got to see where that pH that soil is. A lot of people out there think that they can just not check their pH and they can just pour fertilizer on, it's going to help it, which is completely wrong. You know, that soil pH is actually what determines how much fertilizer them plants are going to be able to utilize.
5.5 versus a 6.5 pH. How much more fertilizer? I mean, in general.
In general, a 5.5 pH, you're gonna lose about 35% of your fertilizer. So that's just the money thrown on the ground. The plants are never going to be able to utilize.
How does lime compare to fertilizer prices?
Oh, lime is so much cheaper. It's the cheapest thing you can do, and the most important step you can take is to get that lime up, the pH up with that lime. And you know, if you can get, I want to see everybody get into a 7.0, but that's your neutral. So, but if you can get that 6.5 to a 7.0, you're going to grow anything out there. But if you can get it to that 7.0, you're not wasting any money. The plants are going to utilize every bit of the fertilizer that you put on.
And please correct me if I'm wrong, because that pH is dialed in, that planting is going to be able to be so much healthier. And because of that health, is it going to withstand a drought better? Of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it going to withstand too much? Of course. So lime, if I recall correctly, takes a while to break down, doesn't it?
It does. You know, you're looking at ag lime's taking about 6 months to break down. Pelletized lime is taking about 3 months. Now your ag lime will last longer. But for us in the food plot world, I'm a diehard pelletized guy. It's easier to spread, not as messy. It's very inexpensive. And that's how I raise mine.
And so when you're talking it takes about 3 months, you're saying it takes about 3 months to achieve the results that
you
the
want.
lime is. So
Yes.
going out and applying your lime, you're putting in a fall plot.
Yep.
Going out today, on the day you're planning on planting that fall plot towards the end of August, you go out there, you apply that lime right then and there, you aren't doing much good, are you?
You're not doing any good. You're going to help it for the next year. I will go in December, January, and I'll apply my lime then. Take my soil test, apply my lime, and then for my fall plots, I will come in on my rotation plots. I will get in there about April and apply my lime about April, and then I'll have it for the fall.
Beautiful. And so you're going ahead, you're applying your lime at that point, but are you applying fertilizer then?
No.
You're waiting till
I wait till the day that I work the ground, and especially with me, when it comes to let's say our annual plots were mostly your brassicas, your nitrogen-based type plants. So I always want to work my fertilizer in when I work the soil because you will lose that with evaporation.
Exactly.
So I always like to work it in.
So There's a whole bunch of different ways to make food plots. Whole bunch. But the real keys are to make sure your soil is dialed in.
Yep.
You do that simply by taking soil tests.
Yep.
And we're standing in about a 1/4 acre plot here. What I would do is 4 corners in the center,
right in the center.
just a scoop with a big spoon
Yep.
into a sandwich baggie, bring it down to the co-op.
Co-op, yep.
Get your soils dialed in, make sure you're not planting those seeds too deep.
Too deep.
And the one thing that we just don't have time to get into today, but there's a whole bunch of different ways of planting it. Match your planting techniques to your soils and
Exactly,
conditions.
yes.
Final thoughts, brought to you by Huntworth. There are all sorts of issues when it comes to creating that thriving food plot. You get the pH right months before the planting. You apply the fertilizer, you work it in, and you get that solid seed bed, and after that you just pray for rain.
Pray, yes.
There's a whole bunch of different ways to do it. Match your planting techniques to your goals and what will work in that specific location. I'm a big fan of no-till. I'm a big fan, quite frankly, of spreading seeds, spraying and letting the weeds die over. You do that on a sandy ridge top in an area that's pretty, you're going to be disappointed.
Yep.
Match them and you'll always do better. Thank you so darn much, Rob.
You're very welcome.